Hi sinners, since we'll be talking about Taylor Swift today, I'd like to thank you all in advance for being cool, calm, and collected in the comments. This is your first and only warning. Don't make me break out the behavior chart now, because I will call your parents. August 26, 2025 is a day that will go down in pop culture history. And why is that? Because it was National Toilet Paper Day, hello? Oh my god, did you forget again? You do this every year. I'm tired of it. Oh, and before I forget, August 26th was also the day Taylor Swift announced her engagement to Travis Kelce. Way to overshadow my favorite holiday, Blondie. Their engagement announcement came less than 2 weeks after Taylor's first public interview in years on the New Heights podcast, hosted by Mr. Swift himself and his brother, Jason Kelce. Can I just say, I'm not used to seeing Taylor in such a casual setting. I feel like she's very intentional with the image she puts out, like, anything we see of her nowadays is very curated. It's kind of like running into your teacher at the grocery store. And it's funny I say teacher because under the collage of photos from their special moment, Taylor wrote, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." When I tell you the millennial white women ate that shit up, I'm not kidding. And in the words of the white millennials who came before me, an elder Gen Z, Taylor won the internet that day. News of the engagement was trending on every social media platform, and everyone was talking about it. This one tweet made me laugh a lot. Taylor Swift going down the aisle at her wedding, and it's a picture of a private jet. Though using an AI-generated image to clown on Taylor's outrageous carbon footprint is certainly a choice. I've also seen countless videos of Swifties gathered around someone's phone or laptop reacting live to the news. You'd think they worked for NASA and were watching the first rocket to Mars take off. One professor even gave his students the day off so they could celebrate Taylor's engagement.
Class, as you know, we were supposed to have a biochem midterm today, but Taylor and Travis just got engaged. No way. I can't focus, you all can't focus, classes can't, so get out of here.
And major publications like People.com went as far to say that Taylor getting engaged is a quote-unquote milestone for our generation. A lot of Swifties also went back to look for Easter eggs in past music videos to see if she hinted at the engagement, because as we know, Taylor loves her Easter eggs. She loves a good reference, and I imagine looking for Easter eggs is part of the fun in being a Swiftie. For example, some Swifties believe that Taylor chose to announce her engagement on August 26th because track 6 of the Tortured Poets department is The Prophecy, and 13 plus 13, Taylor's favorite number, is 26. Another Swiftie pointed out that Taylor's engagement announcement was her 687th Instagram post, and Travis Kelce's jersey number is 87. Not only that, the day before August 25th was 87 days after Taylor officially bought back her masters. And also the same day she dropped the red and gold variant of the Life of a Showgirl vinyl. And which team's colors are red and gold? Say what you want about Swifties, but that is a talent. If I ever go missing, heaven forbid, I hope there's a Swiftie on my case. I'm just poking fun at you Swifties, but I can only rain on your parade for so long. Quite frankly, I love your energy. In all seriousness though, it's really cool how someone's music can make such a profound impact on people. Taylor's lyrics are so relatable, and I'm sure her music's gotten millions of fans through tough times and bad breakups. So it makes sense why so many Swifties are having such a big reaction. Like it's a close friend getting engaged as opposed to a billionaire pop star. And even as someone who's not a Swiftie, I can acknowledge that this is a huge milestone for Taylor, especially given her history. You know, after 2 decades and multiple albums documenting the ups and downs of her love life, Taylor getting engaged to Travis is the perfect way to close this chapter of her life. It's her happily ever after, if you will. And this has given Swifties hope that they too will get their storybook ending. But I can't say all Swifties were happy about the news. The most interesting reaction, in my opinion, came from what are called the Gaylors. Basically, Gaylors are a subsection of Swifties who believe that Taylor is secretly gay, bi, pan, queer, what have you. And because they view Taylor's lyrics through a queer lens, they believe that Taylor has hinted at being part of the LGBTQ+ community since the beginning of her career. And in my quest, Is he licking his butt on camera? We're just gonna wait a moment. And in my quest to learn more about Taylor's hidden LGBTQ plus agenda, I found that there are two types of Gaylors. Type 1 is Gaylors who are queer Swifties and hope that Taylor is queer too for representation's sake. And this I don't have a problem with because it's natural to want to feel represented in the media we consume. But then there's the Type 2 Gaylor, aka Gay QAnon. These people insist that Taylor is not just queer but a full-on lesbian, and Travis is her beard. And in case you don't know what a beard is someone who poses as a closeted individual's partner to help hide their sexuality. Let me tell you, these Gaylor QAnon people were not happy. And look, Taylor's not the first or last public figure to face LGBTQ plus allegations. I mean, we have Louis and Harry, we have Dan and Phil, we have Lauren and Camila, and probably like hundreds more. Every fandom has their gay ship, and some take it farther than others. By the way, instead of asking if 100 men could take one gorilla, you know that hypothetical that was floating around Twitter a few months ago? Could 100 men take on one gorilla? We should really be asking ourselves, what would happen between 100 Gaylors and one Larry, aka a Louis and Harry shipper? No Gaylor would be making out alive in that situation, because if you know, you know. The Larrys were intense back in the day. Ask me how I know. But Gaylors claim that Taylor has been flagging as LGBTQ plus for years, aka leaving subliminal messages that she's queer. A lot of people view the rainbow aesthetic of Lover as her flagging. People also noted that Taylor and Brendan Urie released Me on April 26th, aka Lesbian Visibility Day. Travesty of a song that should have never seen the light of day. And in the You Need to Calm Down music video during the Lover era, Taylor made herself the sheriff of the gay town featured in the video, which I think is tongue-in-cheek. I don't think that really means anything either way. These Gaylors are something else. Let me read you a tweet that knocked my socks off. So the original tweet contains 4 pictures of Taylor, 1 of her wearing a flannel and 3 of her wearing a turtleneck. And this Gaylor quote tweeted the pictures and said, "I still think she dresses like that in real life when she's at home, like more non-binary, because I remember when she was leaving the Eras tour one day and she was walking very..." Huh? I don't think you could say that. Or maybe you can't. I don't know who you are, but non-binary is one flannel, as we all know. That's crazy, dude. Basically, for these type of Gaylors, August 26th was their 9/11. Particularly the Gaylors of Reddit were not happy. The subreddit r/Gaylor Swift imploded when the news came out, and there's over 50,000 members in this community. Unfortunately, the sub is now private, so I can only grab so many screenshots, but the ones I got, baby. So there's nothing inherently wrong with having a Gaylor Swift sub because, like I said, a lot of Gaylors are queer themselves and just hope for more queer representation. And they interpret Taylor's lyrics and relate it to their own experiences as queer people. But Taylor's secret identity often comes up in these threads. Under one of the Reddit posts announcing the engagement, this Gaylor said, "She's in black and white stripes, like she's in jail, because Taylor's wearing a black and white striped dress." With 5 downvotes. I wish I could make it 6. And then this person said, "Sorry, you're getting downvoted for pointing out the obvious. I have a feeling not everyone here is a true Gaylor." Well, perhaps not. Some Gaylors took this as Taylor's cry for help. I don't know what to freaking tell you. But let's think about it a little deeper. The Chiefs' colors are red and yellow. What do you get when you mix red and yellow? Orange, which is what? The new black. So does that mean Travis also feels imprisoned because he has to be Taylor's beard? Or he's the warden, preventing Taylor from being free to pursue her true lesbian love? Oh my God, why is no one talking about this? I mean, technically, she didn't say she was getting married, just that some gym teacher somewhere was marrying an English teacher. Me trying to cope. For all we know, she just wanted an excuse to wear the actual wedding ring she got from her actual wife. What the hell, sure. Apparently another Gaylor on Reddit was having a panic attack because of the engagement news. Not to be dramatic, but my breathing has been at near panic attack levels for 2 hours. I know all the logical reasons why this is fine, whether she's bi and really loves him or is doing performance art or whatever, but it's just knocked me on my ass a little today. I say this with all due respect, but if this is your reaction to any celebrity-related news, log off for me. okay? Perhaps you need to seek help too. And I don't mean that facetiously, because genuinely, this is unhinged. And of course, you got all the good luck babe comments. This Redditor says, "Oh Christ, happy for her, but this is the worst news of my life. Worse than my granddad dying." Yeah, that guy. If there's anything in the world you could do right now, what would it be? And why is it Googling your name, phone number, or home address? Data brokers are making billions off of selling your information to marketers, scammers, and they don't even ask you first? What the frick, dude? I want to make money off my personal information. And even if you did ask these companies to remove your data, they make the process as confusing as possible. So if you've ever wondered why you keep getting random calls from phone numbers with no caller ID or spam flooding your inbox, that's why. On the contrary, when I Googled my email address before recording, nothing came up. And that's because I use Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura is an all-in-one digital security tool that works all day, every day to keep your data safe. Aura will notify you if your personal info is leaked on the dark web. They also send real-time fraud alerts for your credit and banking accounts. And on the off chance anything does go wrong, Aura offers $5 million in identity theft insurance. With US fraud experts ready to help you 24/7. With Aura, you'll also receive a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, and more. Aura is literally the Swiss Army knife of digital security, so why wouldn't you use it? I don't leave myself vulnerable, and you shouldn't either. You can try Aura for free for the next 14 days when you go to aura.com/Annamarie. And in those 2 weeks, you'll discover where your data is being sold. That's aura.com/Annamarie for a 14-day free trial. So shout out to Aura for keeping me and my sinners' information safe. Now let's get back to your scheduled programming. All right, we're so back. I got some tea. So hopefully I don't sound like I'm dying. I'm sure you can guess who got me this mug. Like me, you're probably thinking, are there really people who think Taylor Swift is gay? Because with all due respect, with peace and love, that is the straightest woman alive. Whatever the opposite of gaydar is, I have it. And my thing beeps every time I look at Taylor Swift. The theory that Taylor is secretly gay mainly stems from queer interpretations of her lyrics. Some of her songs include words or phrases that could be considered flagging, like throwing bricks in New Romantics, or dropping hairpins in Right Where You Left Me, or the mention of lavender and lavender haze. I want to make this crystal clear before anyone misconstrues my words. It's okay to interpret an artist's lyrics in a gay way. Art is subjective, everyone processes it differently. It's normal and fine and cool to interpret certain lyrics and apply it to your own experiences. But still, that hasn't stopped people from suspecting that Taylor is secretly queer, from being a type 2 Gaylor in particular. Though some Gaylors claim that Taylor has dropped hints in most, if not all, of her albums, people would agree that her gayest album to date is Folklore, which dropped in 2020. And that's personally my favorite Taylor Swift album, and not because it's gay, but it certainly helps. One song off of Folklore that people interpret as queer is 7, and the song talks about Taylor being childhood friends with an abuse victim. And despite Taylor not using pronouns, you can infer that the other person is feminine presenting at the very least because of the use of braids and dolls in the song. But let's actually take a look at some of the lyrics from 7. And I think you should come live with me and we can be pirates. Then you won't have to cry or hide in the closet. And just like a folk song, our love will be passed on. I mean, hide in the closet, that's like the gayest metaphor you can make. I still got love for you, pack your dolls in a sweater, we'll move to India forever, passed down like folk songs, our love lasts so long. A lot of people interpreted 7 as having a queer awakening as a child. I think I speak for a lot of sapphics, a lot of us in the Wolawa community, that some of the deep friendships we had when we were younger, we didn't realize later in life were actually crushes. We just thought we really liked this person and wanted to be their friend. You're telling me you didn't have a homoerotic friendship in high school? Get lost. Then if we take a look at track 6 of Folklore, which is Mirror Ball, I want you to know I'm a mirror ball. I can change everything about me to fit in. And some people view this as someone questioning their gender identity. But the most damning evidence off of Folklore is this trifecta of songs that paint a story, which is Cardigan, Betty, and August. These are 3 love songs that talk about a love triangle between 3 teenagers, James, Betty, and James's side chick. I'm sorry, she doesn't have a name, so I have to call her the side chick. Cardigan is track 2 and is from Betty's POV. When you are young, they assume you know nothing, and I felt like I was an old cardigan under someone's bed. You put me on and said I was your favorite. Betty is basically saying she felt misled by James because he said one thing and then did another. And then August, which is track 8, is the side chick's POV. But I can see us lost in the memory. August slipped away in a moment of time because it was never mine. And I can see us twisted in bed sheets. August slipped away like a bottle of wine because you were never mine. Which basically means that like the summer fling with James went by way too fast. Will you call me when you're back in school? I remember thinking I had you. So much for summer love and saying us because you weren't mine to lose. You know, despite knowing that this is a summer fling, I guess the side chick is hoping that her, relationship with James lasts into the fall. But he wasn't hers to lose. And now we get to Betty, which is track 14 and from James's perspective. Again, Taylor used no pronouns in the song, so it was easy for people to view it through a queer lens. You heard the rumors from Inez. You can't believe a word she says most times, but this time it was true. The worst thing I ever did was what I did to you. Standing in your cardigan, kissing in my car again, stopped at a streetlight. You know I miss you. So James regrets cheating on Betty. Well, sir, maybe you should have thought of that ahead of time. However, some Swifties believe that Betty is actually from Taylor's point of view, not James's, as if Taylor is apologizing to Betty for cheating on her. But if I just showed up at your party, would you have me? Would you want me? Would you tell me to go f myself or lead me to the garden? In the garden, would you trust me if I told you it was just a summer thing? I'm only 17, I don't know anything, but I know I miss you. Yeah, I showed up at your party. Will you have me? Will you love me? Will you kiss me on the porch in front of all your stupid friends? Gay? But not, because it's from James's point of view. But it's easy to see why this song connected with a lot of queer Swifties. And again, nothing wrong with that. The problem is when you insist that someone is one way and harass anyone that disagrees with you. But the Gaylor theory goes beyond the lyrics. People have been speculating for years that Taylor has dated quite a few of her female friends. Some of them from high school, some of them being her former bandmates, but her two most significant alleged relationships were with Diana Agron and Carly Kloss. And in case you live under a rock, Diana Agron played Quinn Fabray in Glee.
Because you're all minorities. You're in the Glee Club.
And I know there's a 1 in a million billion kajillion chance that Diana will ever see this video, but if she just so happens to come across this, hi. I am free to hang out next Monday. So if you are also free next Monday, which is when I'm free, we should hang out next Monday if you're free, because that's when I'm free and I would love to hang out. So if you want to hang out and you're free on next Monday, which is when I'm free, we should do that. And then there's Carly Kloss. She's most known for being a Victoria's Secret model, but if you're chronically online like me, Carly Kloss is Miss Looking Camp right in the eye. More like looking clit right in the eye, because, with all these rumors that she and Taylor are gay. I'm sorry. I need to be spayed. Diana and Carly were two women who were very close with Taylor for a period of time. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole Gaylor timeline because that would mean unpacking every female human interaction that Taylor Swift has ever had over the past 20 years. And I don't have time for that. But if you would like to know the timeline, Nicole Raffi just made an awesome video about Gaylor, so go check it out. I'll leave the link below. Let's start with Diana. So she and Taylor were very close friends from 2011 to 2013. They went to events together. Diana was always tweeting about Taylor, and they were just always spotted in public. I assume they met through mutual friends from the Glee cast, because Taylor was also friends with Corey Monteith, rest in peace, and she went on a basketball date with Cord Overstreet. Diana and Taylor's first public outing was at the Fairfax Flea Market in September 2011. This was also the same year Diana was on the Glee tour and allegedly was also hooking up with both Leah Michele and the late Naya Rivera. These girls. This was also the same tour where Diana wore her infamous Likes Girls t-shirt on stage. And that really got the rumor mill churning. So much so that Diana had to come out as straight in a 3,500 word Tumblr post. No, I'm not a lesbian. Yet if I were, I hope that the people in my life could embrace it wholeheartedly. And let me tell you, I can easily spill quite comfortably what I admire, respect, and and think is beautiful about any of the women in my life. Piece of cake. Last night, I wanted to do something to show my respect and love for the GLBT community. Support that people could actually see, which is why I decided to change my shirt for the show. I happened to read a few comments that were posted on Twitter. Many of you asked, why? This is my response. I'm not asking for you to agree with what I'm saying, but if you're listening, thank you. That is all I can ask. And a step further would be to take a moment to honestly answer the questions that I've raised. We can't always put ourselves in someone else's shoes, but we can try. It doesn't help that a year later, Diana proudly proclaimed that she has kissed girls before at the GLAAD Awards. Although that really doesn't mean anything. Like, who you kiss doesn't define your sexuality. Like, I've kissed a lot of men in my life, unfortunately, and I'm still as gay as the day is long. But a lot of Gaylors have taken upon themselves to link some of Taylor's songs to her alleged romantic relationship with Diana. Most notably, Wonderwall from 1989. The obvious connection is the fact that Diana's favorite film is Alice in Wonderland. She's apparently talked about it in many interviews and at one point had a rib tattoo with a quote from the story. Diana's now deleted public Tumblr page was called Fell Down the Rabbit Hole, which is an obvious Alice in Wonderland reference. And Taylor alludes to Alice in Wonderland a lot in this song. Flashing light and we took a long turn and we fell down a rabbit hole. We found Wonderland, you and I got lost in it and we pretended it could last forever. Didn't you flash your green eyes at me? Didn't you calm my fears with a Cheshire Cat smile? This lyric in particular stuck out to people because Diana has green eyes. However, this song was most likely about Harry Styles because they were dating around the time Taylor wrote this. And we can't forget Harry's big, beautiful green orbs. Another song people believe is about Diana is Come Back, Be Here from Red. I guess you're in New York today. I don't want to need you this way. Come back, be here. Come back, be here. And the reason why people believe this is about Diana is because they were hanging out in New York until Taylor had to leave for Nashville to finish writing and producing Red. Another line that people find interesting, I guess you're in London today. I don't want to need you this way. Come back, be here. Come back, be here, which is pretty much the same thing, just London instead of New York. Again, people believe this is about Diana because she went to London with the late Naya Rivera. And in case you forgot, apparently she and Naya were shacking up during the Glee tour. So maybe this was their way of relighting an old flame? Probably not. And may I remind you, Taylor was dating Harry Styles around this time, so the London reference could have easily been about him. Another song off of Red that people believe is about Diana is Holy Ground. In verse 1, Taylor says, I left a note on the door with a joke we made, which Gaylors think alludes to Diana's circus-themed 26th birthday party that Taylor was invited to. Taylor was dressed as a kitten and wrote something on Diana's door. I'm a little kitten and I need to nurse because I'm a runt and I'm likely to fall victim to predators. So maybe that's the joke Taylor's referring to in Holy Ground. Now this last one I gotta say is a bit of a stretch. So in Everything Has Changed featuring Ed Sheeran, which again is on Red, apparently a lot of the Red album is about Diana. Damn. One of the lines in Everything Has Changed is, all I know is pouring rain and everything has changed. Like the title. And if you ask some Gaylors, apparently this line is a reference to the time Taylor and Diana went to the Hunger Games premiere together on March 25th, 2012, because it was raining that day. How do I put this nicely? Whatever you say, I guess. Now, Taylor and Carly were thick as thieves for over a decade, from 2012 to like 2023. And that's like a lifetime and a half in lesbian years. Not only do some Gaylors believe that Taylor and Carly dated, but they also believe that Carly's husband, Josh Kushner, is also gay. So Carly and Josh have a lavender marriage, and Taylor and Travis are about to have a lavender marriage, apparently. But if you ask these same Gaylors, they would tell you that all of Reputation is about Carly Kloss. So let's take a look at some of the songs in question. First, there's Delicate, which is about hiding a relationship in plain sight, which is something people who aren't out of the closet typically do. You know, the woman your aunt has been living with for 20 years? That's not her roommate, babe. That's her scissor sister. Okay. Because I like you, this ain't for the best. My reputation's never been worse, so you must like me for me. Yeah, I want you. We can't make any promises now, can we, babe? But you can make me a drink. And some people believe that this is a metaphor for Taylor having to hide her relationship with Carly. Though, if you don't remember, Reputation was released after everyone was calling Taylor a snake online for her public feuds with the Kardashians and Calvin Harris. If Taylor has ever fallen out of favor with the public, this was probably the time. And also, based on the timing in general, this song is probably about the beginning of her relationship with Joe Alwyn. Gorgeous is another song that some Gaylors claim is about Carly, because apparently the lyrics describe a love a woman can only experience for another woman. You're so gorgeous, I can't say anything to your face because look at your face, and I'm so furious at you for making me feel this way, but what can I say? You're gorgeous. There's nothing I hate more than what I can't have, and guess I'll just stumble on home to my cats alone unless you want to come along. Again, most likely about Joe. However, I'll give Gaylors this. The most incriminating of the songs on Reputation that maybe in another universe could be about Carly is Dress, which is easily the raunchiest song on this album. Our secret moments in a crowded room, they got no idea about me and you. There's an indentation in the shape of you, made your mark on me, a golden tattoo. All of this silence and patience, pining anticipation, my hands are shaking from holding back from you. Say my name and everything just stops. I don't want you like a best friend, only bought this dress so you could take it off. Best friend? Carly was Taylor's best friend at one point. I could see it. This is one where I could see it. I know I've been poking a lot of fun at Gaylors, and it probably comes across as hypocritical because I'm a lesbian. You'd think I would eat this shit up. So I'll bite. Let's play into the Gaylor fantasy a little. There is a world where Taylor could be secretly queer. If Taylor has dated women before, that doesn't negate the relationships she's had with men. People like to make it a black and white thing when, there is a possibility that she's bisexual or somewhere in the middle of the road. Hypothetically speaking, Taylor could be attracted to women and also be engaged to Travis at the same time. Like, both truths can exist. But the reason why I've on the Gaylor theory so much is because Taylor herself has said that she is not queer, that she is a straight lady. Let's take a look at the prologue of 1989 Taylor's version. Being a consummate optimist, I assumed I could fix this if I simply changed my behavior. I swore off dating and decided to focus only on myself, my music, my growth, and my female friendships. If I only hung out with my female friends, people couldn't sensationalize or sexualize that, right? I would learn later on that people could and people would. And this isn't the first time she's brought up people sexualizing her friendships with other women. In a tweet from 2014, Taylor said, "As my 25th birthday present from the media, I'd like for you to stop accusing all my friends of dating me. #thirsty." #true. I think a huge reason why a lot of female friendships are mistaken as queer is because women are typically more physically affectionate with people, especially their girlfriends, as opposed to men with their male friends. And the problem with that is that it's sexualizing all types of physical affection. Something I forgot to note earlier, I think it's interesting how this tweet from 2014 came out months after a fake article was published stating that Taylor and Diana were in a relationship, which I assumed ruined whatever friendship/romance they had if they were together. Because if they were together and this fake article outed them, it's like, oh shit, like, people know our secret. But if they weren't actually together, it's like, oh, now it's awkward. We can't go anywhere without people assuming we're dating. And this isn't the first time it's happened. Like, Louis and Harry to this day still can't publicly interact because people will take it and run with it. And unfortunately, it's not just the chronically online fans pushing the Gaylor theory. Back in January 2024, the New York Times published a controversial article about the Gaylor theory called "Look What We Made Taylor Swift Do," which brought Gaylor to the mainstream. And it made so much of a splash, so much of a rumble, that Taylor's team came out and denounced this article. Because of her massive success, in this moment, there's a Taylor-shaped hole in people's ethics. This article wouldn't have been allowed to be written about Shawn Mendes or any male artist whose sexuality has been questioned by fans. There seems to be no boundary some journalists won't cross when writing about Taylor, regardless of how invasive, untrue, and inappropriate it is, all under the protective veil of an opinion piece. You know what? I'll bite again. What if, despite saying she is straight countless times, that she is sick of the media sexualizing her female friends, what if she did all that and she's still secretly queer? you know what? That would still be none of our business. When both invasive fans and major publications are dissecting every little bit of her life, maybe there's a reason Taylor hasn't come out as queer, on the off chance that she isn't straight, which I don't believe, personally. History would say they're friends, and sometimes they just are. I'm sorry. It pains me to say that. But if Taylor says she's straight, she is straight until further notice. And you gotta love the irony in fans insisting that Taylor is queer. Meanwhile, we have actual sapphic artists like Chappell Roan and Renee Rapp, whose identities are questioned all the time. Do you know how many people I've seen online call Chappell a fake lesbian? And we can't forget that awful, infamous podcast clip of Betty Who saying she's holding space for Renee Rapp to come out in 10 years and fall in love with a man.
It's funny that Renee Rapp is like, you'll never catch me dating a man. It's like, go off, queen. Like, I love that for you.
Right.
But I also hold space for her in 10 years if she goes, oops, I met the love of my life and it's this man. I didn't mean to. It's
right.
like, that's okay. You know, it shouldn't be like, it shouldn't be illegal for you to fall in love.
People would never say this about a queer male artist. They would never say this about Troye Sivan, Conan Gray, Lil Nas X. And I'm sure a lot of Gaylors are coming from a good place. They want to see themselves in the media they consume. That is fine. I totally understand that, especially as a fellow queer person. But speculating about Taylor's sexuality, spreading rumors about her relationships is just unhinged behavior. Throughout the making of this video, I came across an interesting article from 2023 titled "Speculating about Celeb Sexuality is Divisive. Here's Why It's Still Necessary," with Taylor Swift as the cover photo. And the author tried to debunk reasons why you shouldn't speculate on people's sexualities. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I do want to highlight one quote that really grinded my gears, that really ticked me off. This author argued that speculating on someone's sexuality isn't actually outing them. More to the point, outing someone as LGBTQ+ is a very specific term that refers to making privately held information public. A newspaper with verified information about an actor's same-sex relationship presented as fact can out someone, but a random fan on Twitter with no personal knowledge of a celebrity's private life other than what is publicly available is literally incapable of outing someone. This is objectively untrue. The only reason why Kit Connor came out was because of unhinged fans on social media. And in case that name has no meaning to you, Kit Connor is a British actor who portrays Nick Nelson, a bisexual teenager, in the Netflix show Heartstopper. And for months, rabid fans were accusing Kit Connor of queer baiting because they assumed he was straight. The harassment got so bad that Kit was basically forced to come out as bisexual to get the accusations and bullying to stop. Similar thing happened to Billie Eilish. People were accusing her of queer baiting with one of her music videos. I can't believe I have to remind y'all in 2025, but real people can't queer bait. And sure, maybe Kit Connor or Billie Eilish's situation isn't as extreme as Nikki Tutorial's being blackmailed into coming out as trans, but whether you're a journalist, interviewer, or terminally online Redditor, backing people you suspect are queer into a corner until they confirm they're queer or not isn't the W for the LGBTQ community you think it is. Coming out is a very personal journey. It's a very scary journey, especially in times like these when LGBTQ rights are up in the air. I mean, this administration is literally calling trans people a terrorist group. While someone like Taylor Swift might be fine, we shouldn't get into the habit of speculating on people's sexualities and essentially forcing them to come out, which I guess is the thesis of my video. If someone says they're straight, and if you think they aren't, keep your mouth shut. I don't know what to tell you. Now, while Taylor Swift might not be gay, you definitely are, especially if you made it this far in the video. And if you did make it this far in the video, thank you. I'm glad you're here. Thank you to Aura for sponsoring, and just in case you forgot, you're gay. Bye.